smells like
All right, I hope this one looks a little better than the last one. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. This is I Don't Want to Be a Piece of Shit, and I'm your host, Carter Doherty. We're back with another freaking episode. What's up? Last I left off, I was stoked on life. I'm still stoked on life, to be honest. It's another check-in with your boy, Carter Doherty. This past week, I've been on the road 2 weeks. I was in the Pacific Northwest. It was very fun. But I am back in Phoenix. So I'm in Phoenix currently, staying with my good buddy. And you know, I guess I left off on a really high note, and I'm appreciative of life, but I think I'm being brought back to equilibrium. I think life is being real. I mean, nothing bad is happening, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to start to get down on myself. Freaking things are still stoked. But I just had these, like, I feel like I was pretty delusional with myself a little bit. Like, I was a little too stoked on, like, stand-up and all these other things where I think I set my expectations for things that were coming up in life. I guess I should be more. I should use my words more. I got to open for two of my favorite comics, and like in your head beforehand, you go like, "Oh, this is gonna go so amazing. It's gonna be the best time of my life. They're gonna be my best friends after." And then, like, you know, I'm going to be famous, and everybody's going to realize the talent that I have. I'm the greatest of all time. And just things are going to go my way. And then I can't wait for it to happen. And then, like, obviously, you know, the logical part of your brain goes, like, that's not real. That's not what's going to happen. But you still have that, like, inkling in the back of your head that that's what it's going to be. But that, I mean, real life happened. I did fine. I did good. I guess I don't know. I first went to Portland. I got to open. I frequently get to do shows with Jordan Jensen, who is like one of my favorite comics. She said she was gonna do the pod. That's another thing. Is I feel like I keep, like, I don't know. I need to be a little bit more definitive when I make plans with people, because I feel like a lot of times I make plans with friends and maybe I seem a little available. But I just feel like people, like, schedule with me and then they're pretty flaky on me, whereas I don't flake as much on my friend. I don't know. Maybe that's a little person. All right. I just feel like it's not even just that. It's just like it happens with a lot. And I feel like it's maybe like a me thing where I'm like, maybe I need to, I guess what I'm saying is I need to meet my friends where they're at, where I think I put too much on a lot of people, where I expect them to be more than they can be for me sometimes. Whereas, like, I don't know, I just am like a little bit more of I got a lot of free time, maybe. And so I can, like, I could be there for a lot of friends. Whereas, like, when I don't know. Regardless. I was pretty pumped to work with Jordan that week, because also I'd been working on a lot of new jokes that I was very excited about. And then, like, I did the sets and all the new jokes. I guess, like, I don't know. I was really pumped on doing them for her crowd specifically, because I was like, I think this is, I don't, maybe that's the other issue, is maybe I shouldn't go like, this is what they're gonna like. But also, I guess I was still trying to be, like, authentic to me, but still I was like, this stuff that's, I don't know. Regardless, maybe it's because it seemed a little too targeted. Maybe I needed to be a little different outside of the box for a typical, maybe that's what it is. But regardless, I went up to Portland, and also Portland's a little tight in the buttholes. They were a little sensitivo crowd, TBH, at least for the Jordan shows, which is shocking. Normally her crowd is a little bit more open to other stuff. But I was still pumped on, like, myself for what I was writing and working on. I'm still proud a little bit. It was cool to go up to Portland and experience a new place. I checked into a hostel, and first night of the shows at the club, I met a fan who then. Okay, I'm not saying this is just. Okay, I'll be. This is just what happens. This is just how people meet in life. But she was a nice lady, and but she we some. All right, I'll be honest. Sometimes when somebody follows me after a show, and then if they were like nice in the meet and greet line, maybe nice in the face, and then nice when they when you look at their Instagram, then maybe you follow back. Maybe that's what you do sometimes. Maybe sometimes. Maybe if your name is Carter Doherty and you had a good time on the Thursday show, but and then and then the rest of the week it happened. But Saturday during the day, you maybe you went on a date. Maybe you did. Maybe that's what you did. I guess a date. You went thrifting for some coffee. But it's okay. I'm just happy that I got to socialize. I'm on a level. I don't know. I'm moved out and I'm on a road trip, and I'm just socializing with people going through life. I'm on a full on adventure, man. And it's kind of fun to just meet people and get to know somebody, and just like make a cool new friend. And so that's what I did. And then I was invited to float down the river in Portland with them and their friends on the Sunday, and we just kind of maybe kept hanging when I was in Portland. And it's nice to make a friend like that. All right. I'm honest. Life is cool. Okay, I'm facing reality a little bit. Okay, with life, but maybe that's also reality. That's a up. So I guess like I was a little. The comedy, I still had fun on the sets. I guess I was just like expecting it to be astronomical, and I kind of was like bummed a little bit in my head. I don't know, but it was stoked. It was really cool to just meet a person and have a fun little vacation in Portland. And that person was cool. It is cool. And so yeah, floating down the river was sick. Being in nature, the Pacific Northwest is the most beautiful part of this damn nation. That's for sure. I can tell you that. And then it was cool. After being bummed out with my sets, it was cool to then I did some like independent shows in Portland, and I had honestly better sets at those than I did at the club with probably what should have been the like firest crowds. That's how Gen Z I am. I say firest. But the highest decibel laughing crowds. Should have been the ones at the club with the headliner that I feel like I mesh with well. But the independent shows, those were fucking rocker. And one of them was filmed with a nice camera, and I just did like a 5-minute spot on it, and I was kind of teed up pretty well. And I'm like, maybe now I have my submission tape. So that's an up. That's a good thing on life. In comedy, you always got to send like a 5-minute tape for things. So it's very, like, it's cool. Or I don't know. I was pumped to go up in front of a hot crowd to just do 5 minutes, because then I got to do my best jokes and things in comedy you have to send 5 minutes a lot of times for. So now I think I have it. If it's good, I haven't gotten it back yet. And it's been a week. Maybe I need to check on that. But yeah, I guess Portland overall super dub. That was really cool. It is crazy. It is true. You know, you think it's kind of like boomer propaganda that Portland the homeless are crazy. Fucking insane up there. I was staying in Chinatown. Not a lot of Chinese up there. I'll tell you that. Lot of homeless. So many homeless, and they're well dressed. Exactly, it's like all the hack fucking bits. It's like you can't tell if they're a professor or a homeless. You'll see a guy wearing a suit, and then he pulls a crack pipe out of his pocket, and you're like, the fuck? It's what they say. But Portland, I hope to return soon. Also, maybe see my friend. That'd be cool. And do comedy there. That was so sick. But stoked on that adventure. And I went from Portland. I took a train, the Amtrak train, rode that up to Tacoma, Washington. Train. So yeah, I guess in life I'm trying to just upgrade my social not status. Social status is not exactly what I mean. I mean my social points, my social abilities, social skills. God, maybe if I just stopped smoking so much weed, huh? Maybe that would help me. But I'm trying to improve my social skills, and I'm trying to just have conversations in life. But sometimes I think I intentionally avoid them. I do the Gen Z thing. I do the thing that everybody does in this day and age, and I just like tune into my phone, put my headphones in, head down, don't communicate with anybody. But I was riding the train, and this lady sits down next to me, and I will say she was very pretty attractive. And I do this thing. I guess I do it at the gym a lot. If I see like if I see an attractive lady, I try to make sure I like never even look in her direction, because I'm like, if she accidentally sees that you're looking in her direction, she's gonna be so uncomfortable, and that's fucked up of you to do. So I really, I guess like when I'm at the gym, I always just like look the other way. So when this lady sat down next to me, I just made it. It was almost like I couldn't turn my head to the right. It was like it was in a locked position. I always had to look to the left. Um, and I was listening to a podcast, and then we got to a point where the service went out on my phone, and so my podcast stopped. And I took my headphones out, put it in my bag, and the lady next to me sneezed, and I said, "Bless you." And then she went, "Thank you." So are you going to Tacoma too? And I was like, "Yep." And then and then we, sorry, I'm gonna take a drink of my water. But yeah, we started talking for like the whole 2.5 hour train ride, and really it was a good conversation. All the beats were kept. I was really happy with myself, um, and she was telling me about her life. She used to be a model, and I don't know. It's nice to talk to her, and she was like not like older. And okay, I asked her age, because she said she had a 14-year-old daughter. I was like, 14-year-old daughter? How old are you? And she was like, 38. And I was like, get out of town. And then she got all red. Man, that's okay. Little trick in the pocket right there for old Cardi D. That move, asking like when a lady's like a little bit older, like being like, "What? How old are you?" Like, and then acting shocked by whatever she says. Get out of town. Come on. Come on. Pretty proud of that one. Um, but she's told me 38. And then we followed each other on Instagram because she said she was going to be at Tacoma, and she was potentially wanted to come out to a show. And then I look at her Instagram later, and I see a picture of her holding 2 balloons, and it says 42. Come on. She lied about her age. She's 42. Looked amazing for 42 too. I didn't have to lie about her age. Hopefully she doesn't see this. We do follow each other on Instagram. She wanted to come out to the show, but they did end up leaving early before. Regardless, but it was so dope, hitting all the beats of a conversation, having a good time, laughs, chuckles. We talked for 2.5 hours. That's so sick. Just with a stranger, got to know another stranger. And this is what life's all about, going to new places that I've never been before, seeing new things, new people, meeting new people. Come on, I'm living it, I think. I don't know. It's reality, though. I'm still. But yeah, that Thursday, then I got to host for my favorite fucking comedian in the goddamn land, Joe List. I was so stoked on this. It was a sold out show. Um, it was really cool. So I guess I want to explain it right. So Joe List recently, maybe I think I'm fine. Nobody really listens to this. Regardless, who cares? Joe List put out a special, and he put it out on like a website before he put it out on YouTube, and then somebody leaked it from the website to YouTube, and so Joe struck it, and it was taken down. And then that guy emailed him asking him to unstrike it, and Joe never responded. And so then Joe was coming to Tacoma, and then he got another email saying, like, just some crazy threatening stuff. And Joe's a pretty wound up guy about kooks in the first place, but this is a legitimate threat saying that he lives near Tacoma and he's going to come through. So he's pretty like anxious, and I've seen this before. Like it's crazy. A lot of comics have stalkers. I guess because a lot of autistic internet people really just get attached to these people. But regardless, he was pretty like nervous about this, and it makes sense. But it was still even besides that, it was a really really great time meeting somebody that I've listened to his podcast for such a long time, and it's gay to say. Uh, it's like maybe I should make my podcast funnier because I'm a big fan of all the funny podcasts. But I guess I don't know. It's hard to be that funny when you're just going on your own. And I think maybe I have my times on here. I think I think I don't know. Some people say that this podcast is funny. Do you guys think? Maybe. Who cares? Regardless, I had a fun time in the green room meeting him, and I feel like it just was like in your head, you're like, oh my god, obviously we're gonna become best friends, and he's gonna be like, oh yeah, do you want to just like open for me every time I do anything ever now, because like you're obviously the best comic I've seen, and that's like in your. You just think that's what's gonna happen, and it's not. It's not what it's not reality. Like it's just you gotta. It is what it is. And you know what's crazy is I was like, this is what the person that I find the funniest, and I do stand up comedy. His fans should like obviously just eat me the fuck up, and maybe also I was hosting. But I didn't have the funnest time of all time. Um, and so I was kind of like, it still went pretty well, and it was nice. I got to meet, well, I had actually met Joe's wife before, Sarah Tolama. She's a really funny comedian, but we had, I guess this is one of the most, I don't know, but this is probably the worst I've ever felt on stage. The first time I ever met Sarah, she was headlining a club that I used to work as a server at, Go Bananas in Cincinnati. Um, and I used to run an open mic on Sundays. That was after the headliner show, and she was headlining a weekend. And it was only like 12 people. It was kind of a bummer show. And this couple in the front row, Sarah's like doing crowd work, and she's like, "You guys look bummed out. Um, what's up with you guys?" And the lady goes, "Our son died 2 weeks ago." And then it's just like, how do you even recover from that? It was like she did what you got to do as good as it could be after that. Um, but the show cleared out. Obviously, everybody just kind of was like, the comics were there for my open mic that I run after the Sunday headliner show. But they were kind of just like, all right, let's just do this mic and get out of here. And so I start the thing. The whole audience is cleared out. Doors are closed. I go up on stage and I'm just like, "Hey, how's everybody doing? You guys ready for the Sunday circus?" All right, yeah, I'm doing all right. I don't know. I've been in a bummer mood. My son died 2 weeks ago. I did all right. Got a couple chuckles, and then the door of the club whips open, and the guy's just like, "That's not fucking funny." And at first, I'm a little confused. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, man." Didn't. And then I realize, oh, it's the fucking guy. Ah, shit. And so then we literally just stop the mic, slow it down, wrap it up, wait for them to leave. Because the wife got so hammered she was puking in the bathroom. God. Sorry, I heard a noise. I thought somebody was walking into the house. I will say I'm staying at my buddy Spencer's, who should be the next guest on this podcast if this works out how I think it will, the episodes. Maybe he'll walk in at some point during this episode. I think he's getting off work soon. Where was I at? Oh yeah, I was talking about the lady puking. God, that's just so sad. But maybe you shouldn't go to a comedy show 2 weeks after your son died. I don't think you're ready yet. Maybe, come on, you know. And then if somebody asks you what's wrong, I don't know. Maybe I'm victim. Maybe they're victims, but their son died, but they killed the vibe at the show. Regardless, Sarah and I recalled this story together, and we bonded over that. And then it was nice. I freaking saw one of her friends when I was walking around. This is just it's making me feel nice on my adventures to just kind of like converse like with the baristas at the coffee shop when they ask me why I'm in town, because they're just like up to anything, because they always feel like I don't know, it seems like baristas always just ask you what you're doing today, and you just go, I always say like I'm doing shows just because it's fun to seem important. But oh yeah, I was gonna say how I was walking around Tacoma. Tacoma's such a cute town. Love it. Love the Pacific Northwest. Most beautiful part of this goddamn nation. I'll say it again. But I saw Sarah's friend. Her name was Stephanie. I remember it, Stephanie. And I was walking and she drove past me and she was like, "Hey, you're the guy from Thursday." And I was like, "Yep. Hey, it starts with an S, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's Stephanie." And then remind me of yours. And I was like, "Carter." And then she drove away. And I was like, it brings dopamine to me. Uh-oh, I see a light going off, but whatever. We'll wrap this up soon. I don't have many stories left. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That's how I wanted to end this. Yeah, we'll just do a 25-minute something episode. That's cool. And then when I go back for the weekend on the Saturday, I walk past Sarah, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, forgot my jacket." And I was like, "Oh, so saw your friend Stephanie earlier today." And she was like, "Oh yeah, she mentioned that she's driving me. She's over there." And I looked over, and then she waved out the window. She was like, "Hey, Carter," and I was like, "Oh, hey, Stephanie." And then Sarah was like, "Have a good set tonight." I was like, "Yeah, tell Joe I said hey." And she's like, "I will." And then just I don't know, made me feel good. Just on the road, social interactions. It feels like small town, but yet it's with strangers. And that and then I guess the shows over the weekend in Tacoma, it was so much fun. I featured for this guy Ryan Goodcase, who I had seen his good clips before. He's so funny. And then I probably had the best sets I've had in such a long time featuring. And it's so funny that my best sets were just the random ones that I got booked for to feature on the road, while the other ones opening for my favorite comics were the ones that were just like fine. But that's how life goes. And I guess you just got to accept reality. But I guess the reality is also I'm still pretty decent at stand up. I kind of was down on myself about the other sets, and then it just made me feel good again. I guess I had the better sets at the independent shows in Portland, and then I had the better sets at the featuring at the club in Tacoma. So I'm still pumped on it all. Um, yeah. So I guess I'm accepting reality for what it is, and reality's fine. It's good. It's just not as like I can't just pretend like it's a fantasy. So I'm taking it good, but I'm stoked on life still. And then everything else with life, I feel like I've been pretty good on my friggin' habits and shit. Pumped on it all. We'll tune in again. I think my camera's gonna die, so I'm gonna cut this one right here, guys. I've been Carter Doherty, and this has been I don't want a piece of shit. Be a piece of shit. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Feel the